Hey there, welcome back to AutoNet. Today I want to do a quick little video on working with Esri Core Collection in the JavaScript API. So collection is really cool. It is an array-like class in the JavaScript API, and it's basically like a big list. And you could use this collection to work just like an array, although it does have a few more features to it. So it's got the properties you expect from arrays. So you can get the length, um, and it's got a bunch of the methods you'd expect to find on arrays as well. All right, so you got like instead of having push, you have add. You also have add many, so you can add an array of items to the collection. You can clone your collection. Has concat. And you notice here it has emit because you can have events on a collection. And we'll take a quick look at that in the documentation here. And you have some other really neat features in the collection as well. You can flatten the collection out. So if you have a collection of collections or collections of arrays, you can flatten them all out. Get items at the index of the collection. You can also get the index of an item in the collection, right? So there's some really cool stuff you can do with it. You've got also the regular push, like an array would have. If you look at the events, though, you've got things like you got an after add. So after you add an item, you'll get this event that'll fire. There's things that'll happen after changes as well. And you could do things before changes, before remove. Most of the time, you're going to be listening for the change event, though. So you're going to watch for when the collection's been changed, and you're going to get an object back to tell you what was added, what was moved, or what was removed inside the collection, because it does have the capability to move items around. All right, so we're not going to worry too much about that today. What I really want to talk about is a cool feature you get with collections, which is of type. So of type basically just says you're going to create a collection, and all the items in that collection are going to be a type of something. The sample here, they have it for point, so you create a collection of type point. Have a new point collection, and you add items to it, and if they look like a point, they're going to get auto-cast to a point. All right, so let's see how you might want to use that in your own application. So here I have an app that has no map. I'm not going to be doing anything to display a map. I just want to access items that are part of my web map. And here I've got an array of web map IDs. All right, and I have a couple helper functions here. Just one to console.log some stuff out to the console for me, and then a little function here that's going to change these items into objects that look like the web map constructors. So it's got a portal item with an ID property, right? That's pretty simple. So let's see here. So the first thing I want to do, I want to go ahead and I want to create a collection of web maps, right? Just making notes for myself so I remember what it is I'm supposed to be doing here. So I'm going to create a something here called a web map collection, and it's going to be equal to a collection of type web map. Wow, that was amazing. But no, okay, so that's already something pretty cool that we can do. So now we're going to go ahead and do something here. Let's go ahead and create a collection of web maps equal to new web map collection. Yeah, so I got my web map collection in here. Maybe I want to get my items in here. So I'm going to pass my items, but I need to convert them to these objects that look like constructors for the web map. Okay, so now I got that. That's awesome. Now, since I am working with collections, and if I want to display that collection in the console, for example, I have to remember that this is not an array, it's a collection. So if I'm doing something that wants an array, you need to use a method called toArray on your collection. So it just displays a little bit easier. So if we look at my array here, I've got a collection, no layers in here right now, right? So the length is 0 for layers because the loaded status is false. I have not loaded this yet, but it is a portal item. So it's got my portal item, it's got the ID. I don't know if there's anything else. Nope, nothing else in here. It's just a dumb little portal item, right? So, okay. So now what I want to do is I want to load all of these web maps so I can start working with them. So let's go ahead and load new web maps. So now what I can do is I can use the promise.all method here because I've got multiple web maps in here. I don't have just one. I'm going to be working with a number of web maps. And I'm going to go ahead and do webmaps.map. And for each map that I get, I want to go ahead and load it. So I'm going to say return this load method here. So now I've got that. But remember again, I'm working with collection, not arrays. So I need to convert this collection to an array that promise.all can understand. And once promise.all understands that, I can just show my results. And if there's an error, I'm just going to show the error as well. All right, pretty simple, straightforward. That makes sense. So now let's look at the, and I'll pass in, let's see if we look at this one here. This should be my results here. So I have, again, if I look at loaded on this one, loaded's now true. So if I come over here and look at layers, the length of layers is now 2. So I have layers inside of here. So I've got a web map with layers. That's awesome. So we just made some progress. Now I want to do something where I can actually, I want to access the data that's in my web map. So I'm going to go ahead and create a couple of helper methods here. Maybe I just want to display, for this purposes right now, I'm just going to display the titles of the layers. So display titles. I can spell. Okay. So now I'm going to go to const layer titles is going to be equal to a function that's going to just show the map title. That's it. That's pretty simple. And actually, it would be nice if I made this a function. There we go. So that's going to show map title. I also want to have a function that's going to use this one. So when I get the results from promise.all, it's going to be an array of web maps that have been loaded. So now I need to handle those results somehow. So const handle results is going to be equal to a method that's going to get results, semicolon fan. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to map over my results. And I'm going to do something with that, right? So I can't just map over the web map themselves. I want to go over the layers that are part of the web map. So every web map has a property called all layers. All right, so now I'm going to map over all layers this function layer titles. And in a second, I should see something. Oh no, I have to use it. So I'm not actually using the handle results method here. So now I got to replace where I do show here with handle results. Bam, and there we go. I've just gone ahead and I've shown all of the layers that are now part of these 3 web maps I had loaded in here. So it's just one way you can work with collection to do some cool stuff like that. I typed them to web maps, but you can go ahead and type them to your own classes, and they'll get initialized that way if you just pass the proper constructors to them. So any constructor objects you add to the collection are going to initialize the classes inside of your collection. The collection you've specified for the of type in there. And you notice here, so I'm able to list all of the titles for my web maps. That means I can maybe now start pulling layers from multiple web maps so that I can create a new map to use in my application. Maybe I want to access multiple layers from different web maps and do that. That'd be kind of cool, right? But again, I just want to demonstrate how you can use collection here. Collection is really cool. I got a collection of kids. Don't worry, they're all mine. But yeah, check it out. Have some fun with it and roll with your collections. Thanks.